Hello, my friend. It's Pat Sloan here on my daily video. Happy Valentine's Day. Love is all you need. Yes. So glad you have joined me. Let me first show you my big heart quilt because it's done. Done. Well, almost done. It's got one little bit of handwork, but so excited. Here we go. Ta-da! Here we go. This was so much fun to do, and I love this peach color with the peachy reds. Oh my God, like the pinky reds, pinky peachy reds and the peach solid. So excited. I've got a binding sleeve, so I'm going to stitch that down, and I put, where is it? In the edge here, I put a heart label from the fabric line, the Valentine fabric line. I just used one of those and I sewed it right into the binding on two sides for the label, and then just sewed under those two edges and glued it down. Now I did this one with my binding by machine. So here's a close-up. Let me just get you real close there. There's a binding by machine, and I just thought I would, I was doing this binding. I thought, well, let me see if I can get a good enough video of it with this big old camera here. So I did. Let me run that. I do my binding by machine a lot. I use a single binding, which is what this is. So you can see when I open it up, it's a single binding. You can do double binding for binding by machine, but I find that that extra layer of fabric makes it a little bit more bulky, and so I like to do a single for a lot of things that will be more decorative and you're not going to be in the wash a lot. So the binding is put on from the back and pulled to the front. You can see the rest of the tutorial over at my website. But here I'm going to show you just the corner today, because a lot of people ask me for that, and I thought, well, today's a good day. So I have the binding on, and you see this seam right here? This is the seam that I put the binding on with. And you always want to cover that. So you'll be pulling your binding to the front, and I'm using this stiletto, which I really like. So a stiletto will let you have like another hand to pull over here nice and tight. So I am using today a straight stitch. I have my open toe applique foot on here. I don't have the walking foot on. I have enough pressure with my Solaris, my Baby Lock Solaris. I can do the binding with a thin batting without the walking foot. So I'm going to be stitching just like an eighth of an inch on top of the binding to sew it down, but making sure that it's pulled over that seam. So here's the seam. I want to pull over the seam. Now what happens when we get down to the corner is that I want to have this all tidy before I get there. I don't want to sew up to it and then trying to be fiddling with it. I want to make the corner, the miter corner that I want before I get there. So I'm going to do it now, which is about 3 inches from the corner. So I will do the fold. Well, I might also do this too. I might also just take a binding clip and keep that pulled over just while I'm trying to manipulate the corner, so it's not flopping open. So I'll pull this down. Then I will make the miter corner by pulling the other edge up. So here's what I have. There's just the flap of the miter corner, and this one's really nice. I will put a binding clip on this corner just to hold it till I get there, and then because I don't want this flapping open, I will put a binding clip over here. Now if I really want to be meticulous when I'm doing this, I will glue this down with basting glue before I even come to the machine. I will glue all 4 corners down, like this area from about here to here, like 2.5, 3 inches. Today I'm not, and I often don't. When I get to the corner, I am not going to, let me take this off. When I get to this corner, I am not going to try to stitch from there to the end. I have done it, it's messy. It's also hard to get back, and you end up sort of messing up your corner. So what I will do is just stitch until I get to the other side of the binding. So stitch down, come over, and then I will rotate. I will later go back and hand stitch down that little opening, this little opening in here, if I feel the need. And that might be, for a lot of decorative pieces, I don't really feel the need. So let's go. We're just going to do a top stitch. And now I'm going to take this first binding clip off, and I'm taking the stiletto and pulling that binding over the seam. So so that you do not see it. Now I'm at the corner, so you can see it bumped into the binding clip. So I need to take that clip off, and I will use the stiletto to hold it down. And then when I get into that corner, I know it's probably can't see this because I don't have the camera under there. So I'm right at the corner. I'll show you when I'm done. So I'm going to rotate this and come the other side. And now I'm still doing just right on the outside edge, and I will do a locking stitch, and then I'll take this off and show you. Click the thread cutter, take this binding clip off, and now let me show you what I have. So right here is my mitered corner for the binding. You can see I put the stiletto right in there, so that would need, that little flap would need hand stitched down. If you're doing something you're going to wash or use a lot for decorative pieces, I just leave it. And so there you go. This is a really nice, pretty machine corner. So doing your binding by machine, my biggest tip is to practice a little bit. You know, you'll get better at it. You'll get better at manipulating that end, that corner. Also, I do like using the single bindings for doing it by machine. I just feel like it reduces a little bit of the bulk, so you don't have quite so much bulk in there. And with decorative pieces, you're not going to have heavy washing where your binding is going to get deteriorated over time. You know, so you can do it with double binding, and I have done it. It's just the corners, you definitely want to be gluing those in advance so that you can lock them down in place. So gluing those corners where I was doing it there freehand, if you have them pre-glued, they really don't shift at all. And so then you can just go right up and make your angle and turn. So I will probably not even bother doing this corner, like that little part that's open. I probably won't even bother stitching that on a wall hanging. It's just not worth it. But let me show you again because it's so cute. Here we go. Ta-da! So up on my wall today, I shifted down the blocks from the warmest spot, and I actually have a new one that I got done with some text print. Look at that guy. Isn't he cute? Look at the little bees. They're so darling. So this one was my newest addition, and I did swap out what will be in the home is with one of the ones here. So now the bird will be here. Now this is what I have in the rolling carts. So I have got on the top of the rolling cart here, I'll just tip that forward. You can see I've got it all laid out in there for these blocks. I've got stacks of them so that I can just pick up a stack like this. Whoops, forgot the rest of it. There. So here's like a stack, and that's one of those blocks. And I have those all right in the top here so I can work on them. And then I took in my other rolling case. So on this one, so there I did the same thing, but on here I actually, let's see if I can take this down. Oh yeah, duh. Move the camera, Pat. Okay, so here I've got it all broken out with all the labeling so that I can sew this little guy while I'm doing other things. And I decided, you know, I had some other things here in the top, and I thought, you know, that's just ridiculous. The top should be the project. Top should be the project. That's the most important thing to put in here so that I can sew it. So there we go. That is ready for me. When I start doing some patchwork, I can do these little units to do starts and stops, and then it will move that project forward, and I'll get that project done while I'm sewing something else. Yes, yes. Oh, I had a present. I have to show you a present. This came from Kathy. So, okay, can you guess what it is? Okay, Mr. Greg guessed a key, which does kind of look like a key. But Kathy said when I get out and about again, this is so I put it on my key ring so I can take this and I can open doors, or I can push doors shut, and then I can use the end of it to push buttons like on the elevator. So cool. I had not seen those. I love it. Thank you, thank you. Mwah. So cute. All right, one last thing here. Because it's my day before Valentine's, love is all you need. One of the fabric bundles that came in was the fat quarter bundles, which are the clubs. There's different clubs that I show you off and on. Well, there was one of the clubs that came in was all red fabric, which also had a piece of my Morrison Park in it. So I just thought we would celebrate red fabric today. Red heart. Yes, I can't wait. I'm going to go right after this video is done. I'm hanging this up in my dining room. So let's take a look. Here, celebrating true reds, or mostly true reds. This plaid is so yummy, such a yummy color. Really, really nice. So then here's my Morrison Park. So excited to see that in there. And then I like these little circles. This makes a really neat visual. And there's some cute trees, and that is a really Christmas red. It's gorgeous. So here's some little boxes with X's in them, and that's darling. Then these are numbers, they're upside down, but but they're little tiny numbers, and love the texture that gives. I mean, you wouldn't even know until you start getting in up close to what that is. Some hearts, yes, hearts. Little boxes. Tiny little rainbows. This is what I love about these samplers. You get all of this variety. They are predominantly red. Now this one's got a little bit of pink and tiny touches of green, but they're predominantly red and white. So here, this is what I used in the heart quilt. So there's some more awesome little designs, and then this is gorgeous. Look at that. Wouldn't that be pretty for a border? It looks like a picnic table cloth. It looks like that'd be cute, cute, cute. Could do placemats with that. So this is very pretty as well. I like that one. And I think this is the last one. Yeah, so there's another one here. So when you get these samplers, now this is why I have a lot of fat quarters, because I belong to these where I get a sampling and I have enough to play with, which makes it always really nice. I have to show you a funny thing. My funny thing for the day, and then we're done, is we do grocery pickup. And sometimes, they have to substitute. If you allow it, you can say yes, go ahead and substitute. And so I had ordered some York peppermint patties, and so Greg always gets the thing to say what they substitute. And he goes, "Oh, they substituted your York peppermint patties for something else." And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "But they know that they better be sending you candy." They don't be taking your candy off of there. So what they sent me was the Easter versions. So they're like Easter egg shaped York peppermint patties, but in all these pretty colors. I'm like, hey, I won on that substitution. I definitely won. So these are cute. They're going to go in a bowl on my dining room table. So I can have a pretty bowl there with pretty colored York peppermint patties in it. All right, my friend, thank you for using my links. Have a fabulous Valentine's Day tomorrow. I will be seeing you online. And remember, Monday night, join me at 8 o'clock Eastern, 8 p.m. in the evening, Eastern time for the chat before the video starts. And our UFO busting starts on Monday. So I have some great tips for you on how to figure out what to work on for your projects for Monday night. Okay, I love you. Mwah. Happy Valentine's Day.